Welcome back to Unstable TV! And you're through to Irish Couple Reacts. And do stay tuned because this happens every week.
So if you're new here, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment and hit the bell notification so you don't miss any of these videos. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you!
Thanks for joining us for another react! So Danielle, what are we reacting to on Unstable TV?
So today we are taking a look at how Britain looted 45 trillion from India. And this was a suggestion from...
Let's go!
A lot has been written and said about the British rule in India. If you read their version of history, you would think that the British Raj was the best thing that could have ever happened to India. But the fact is that the British looted India. A greedy and racist British Raj financed its industrial revolution by robbing India, and now there is more data to prove it. A study by Indian scholars reveals stunning numbers. The British looted as much as $45 trillion. Let that number sink in. 45 trillion dollars between 1765 and 1938. Just so that you get a sense of how big this sum is, let me give you another figure. The amount of money that the British looted from India, $45 trillion, is 17 times the current GDP of the UK. 17.
Excuse me?
That's how much India, which used to be one of the richest countries in the world, was reduced to one of the poorest. But defenders of the British Raj would argue otherwise. They claim to have given India democracy, a free press and the rule of law. They claim to have built the Indian railways, taught Indians how to speak English and even play cricket. A British research company, in fact, asked the citizens of the UK about this in 2014. What they found is astonishing. Nearly 2/3 of British citizens feel that the empire was something to be proud of. They did well, they believe. And that includes their politicians. They share this belief. One notable member of this club is a former Prime Minister. When David Cameron was in office, he was asked about his thoughts on the empire, and he said, there is a lot that Britain can be proud of. The timing of the statement was even worse. He was visiting the Jallianwala Bagh in Amritsar in 2013. Listen to his comments, and I'm quoting. This is what the former British PM said. As I was asked the question yesterday, in terms of our relationship with India, is our past a help or a handicap? I would say that it's a help because of the shared history, culture, the things that we share, and also the contributions the Indians talk about that we've made. Contributions. No word on the colonial loot, no word on the misdeeds, the rampant abuses. That's a part of history that has been conveniently brushed under the carpet. It is a fact that British school students do not learn much about their colonial past in schools. Here's a quick eye-opener for them and for all those people who believe that the Brits helped India. This is what they did. The British imposed heavy taxes on Indian producers. The British stole goods and exported them around the world for a profit of 100%.
Wow.
The earnings were then used to finance imports of strategic materials like iron, tar and timber from Europe. These were essential to the industrialization of the Great Britain. Due to loot from India, Britain had an impressive trade surplus that lasted for 3 decades in the 20th century. In fact, most of the so-called hallmarks, like the railways and the British architecture in India, were actually built by the Brits for themselves, for their own use, to help their own interests in India. These were no gifts for India or Indians. Take the example of the railways. The British built the network for themselves. No two ways about it. They used their own technology. Indians were forced to buy British equipment at high prices. The bill was footed by Indian taxpayers. We paid them for building all this. The British earned all the money. And now they want gratitude too. I'm afraid we can only give them numbers, and numbers they may not like. India's share of the world economy when Britain arrived on its shores was 23%. By the time they left, India's share was down to less than 4%. Why and how did that happen? Simply because India had been governed for all these years for the benefit of Britain. Britain's rise for 200 years was financed by its depredations in India. These are not my words. These are the words of Congress lawmaker Shashi Tharoor. Take a look at this.
It was a rare moment in Indian politics. Narendra Modi heaping praise on Shashi Tharoor for his debating skills. Modi was commending the opposition lawmaker for his passionate argument in the Oxford Union debate on whether Britain
we only watched
should
this speech as well. Brilliant
for
speech.
200 years of its colonial rule. The essence of Tharoor's submission was about the toll that British rule took on India's economy.
India's share of the world economy when Britain arrived on its shores was 23%. By the time the British left, it was down to below 4%. Why? Simply because India had been governed for the benefit of Britain. Britain's rise for 200 years was financed by its depredations in India. In fact, Britain's industrial revolution was actually premised upon the deindustrialization of India.
Modi said Tharoor's speech gelled with the feelings of patriotic Indians on the issue and also shows what impression one can leave with effective arguments by saying the right things at the right place.
As far as I'm concerned, the ability to acknowledge a wrong that has been done, to simply say sorry, will go a far, far, far longer way than some percentage of GDP in the form of aid.
100%.
What
He's
is
right
required,
about
it
that.
seems to me, is accepting the principle that reparations are owed. Personally, I'd be quite happy if it was £1 a year for the next 200 years after the last 200 years of Britain and India.
The debate was entitled, "This House Believes Britain Owes Reparations to Her Former Colonies."
Fair play,
It was organized by the Oxford Union, a debating society in the English city of Oxford, whose members are drawn from the University of Oxford. And just in case you're curious to know who won the debate, well, Tharoor's team won the debate with 185 votes to 56. Bureau Report, we on World is One.
Wow.
Well, they should have.
I won that debate all day. What did you think of that?
It's just crazy to see, isn't it, that they're making it out that they done so much for the country when they actually didn't in the slight. Kind of like what they did in Ireland. Can you say famine?
A big shout out to the original content creator, and thanks again for the suggestion. Now, we are reading the comments. We have seen a lot of you asking for this. It's just as well as we done the doctor's speech beforehand, because his speech on own reparations to England was brilliant, and then this as well, as everyone was saying, was after we uploaded that you need to see this for another eye opener, and yes, it is a huge eye opener. We won't get told this in the media,
But like she said as well, you don't get taught it in school either.
Yeah.
Because I've said before that each country has their own version of what happened, so it's going to be different.
Now, we feel the pain of where everyone's coming from, and we didn't live in those times, and it's not to undermine anything. Like the good doctor was saying, he's like, at least, an apology would go a long way.
Just acknowledge it.
Well, I'm not speaking for the whole country, because at the end of the day, some families, even with India as well, some families and some heritage was impacted more than others. But again, it's disgusting to see, because they were basically like, are you not grateful for us building railways to transport the loot that we took off you? So that's basically what they're saying to them.
Oh, how? We don't get a thank you?
Yeah.
For, taking all your stuff off you and making us poor?
Yeah.
You ain't thankful for that? What? Oh, sorry.
Now remember, we're only going according to history here as we're learning. This isn't a bashing thing against anyone. This is a neutral statement. It's only educational at the end of the day. So don't be taken as, we're bashing this country or that. But at the end of the day, in terms of where the bloodlines are concerned and all that, and the governments, an apology will go a long way. Just give them an apology. Exactly. And at least acknowledge it, because it's not really fair. And to turn around, that was real tongue in cheek, to turn around at a ceremony and say that, oh, we helped India. It's no, you just didn't.
It's important to know the history as well, and it's important for everybody to know the history of different countries, so it doesn't happen again. That's why acknowledging it is important.
It's disgusting to see such a disregard, and they do disregard the Irish history like that as well. So we understand where a lot of you are coming from, maybe not to the same depth, but we do have an idea. And again, thanks again for everyone for letting us know in the comments, coming in and having the conversation, taking how long it takes you to type out the comment, or even back and forth was letting us know what's going on. And we encourage all parties. We don't just mean one side of things. We want to hear both sides. We are are learning, and it is a learning curve, and we're not, again, can't stress this enough, we're not bashing anyone, we're doing this for educational history and trying to understand the world a bit better. That's the whole purpose of this.
Yeah, and if anybody from anywhere in the world and has any opinions on this, or you know, you feel like there might be something else that we need to know from maybe a different perspective or something like that, let us know or drop us a video or something like that too.
Thanks again for joining us.
So as always, you are the beautiful people of YouTube, and we have been Unstable TV.
So drop a comment below and let us know what you thought of this reaction video. And if you have any suggestions for us to do, let us know too.
And as always, we will see you in the next one. Bye.